This video is brought to you by Ship Agent. In this video, we're going to talk about my favorite programming language, Go, and why I believe it's the best programming language to use for agentic applications. Hi, I'm Zynda, and this is What the Func. If you're building AI automations, agentic workflows, or whatever they're calling them this week, you've probably reached for Python or TypeScript first. I admit when I started getting into this stuff, I did the same. But after building numerous side projects and getting more confident with this stuff, I found that the language that makes these workflows more reliable, portable, and fast to iterate on aren't necessarily the languages with the newest and trendiest SDKs. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 reasons why. Before we get into that, if you're new around here, on What the Func, we talk about all things development, coding, blockchain, basically anything that's nerdy, trendy, and cool. If that's something that you're into, please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that bell notification icon so you can stay up to date whenever I post a new video. With that out of the way, let's get into it. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the language I believe is best for building agentic applications is Go. Yeah, basically the language you will rarely see in AI Twitter is one that quietly ships the most reliable AI automations, in my opinion. So here's a quick overview of the reasons why, and we're just going to dive into each one of these one by one. So reason number 1, AI writes better code than Python. Now that's a bold claim, and I'm going to tell you why that is. When you start learning Go, you start to realize there's an idiomatic way to write Go code. While with any programming language, it's possible to solve problems in many different ways, the Go community and the Go creators have all come to a consensus around a specific coding style. This is called idiomatic Go. And because LLMs are trained on a mass corpus of different bits of source code, answers in things like Stack Overflow, forum posts, etc., the LLM is also going to pick up on those idiomatic patterns. And so it's going to code a certain way, and it's going to code the way the Go community likes to code. Because of this, if you ask an agent at any given time to code a very specific thing in Go, it's very likely it's going to code it almost exactly the same as it did the time before. So things like structs, functions, explicit error handling, the agent really isn't going to guess, and it's really not going to invent things because the patterns are already there, and it's going to code basically the same every time. So if you'd ask LLM to code something in Python, for example, it's got to choose between data classes, pydantic, some weird async pattern from 2019 that nobody ever uses anymore. If you ask it to code something in TypeScript, it's going to hand you some sort of dependency salad. Your node modules is going to blow up to several gigabytes, and your code might be formatted a different way from one file to the next, depending on your prettier config or the prettier config that the LLM has hallucinated in its head. Go doesn't really do that. There's basically one way to do things. There's one way to format things, and the tooling around Go actually helps to enforce these kinds of things. So even if the LLM decides to do something a little bit crazy, you've got tooling that can go ahead and nudge it back into the right path. Reason number 2, single file executables. The cool thing about Go is that it's a compiled language, and then once you're done building something and you compile it, it compiles down to one single file that you can literally just copy from your local machine onto a server somewhere, and it will run as reliably as anything else you've deployed to Vercel or Netlify. If you've ever tried moving a Python script to a new machine, you've probably run into the virtualenvs nightmare, or trying to set up some crazy conda environment, or maybe you've had some requirements.txt conflicts. So instead of getting something working, you're fighting with NumPy or some broken dependency and just not having a very good time. Building something in TypeScript and Node, you'll run into something similar. Now, to be fair, there is some new tooling around Python and TypeScript. Things like UV and Bun can help you ship things like single file executables, help you manage your dependencies, but these things are still fairly new and they're not as widely adopted. Go has had these things from day one. You can literally take your code, run Go build, you've got your binary compiled for any architecture, And when you want to run it on another machine, there's no dependencies to install. You can literally just copy and paste it onto your Linux server, your Mac laptop, whatever. And if you want to wrap it in a Docker container, you can, but you honestly don't have to. So the big takeaway from this is that building something Go gives you a huge portability unlock. Now, reason number 3, concurrency. Go is built for concurrency. It's not an afterthought. It's not some special library that you have to install. It's not a special runtime. It was made for concurrency from day one. So when you think of AI automations or agentic workflows, a lot of these things are mostly orchestration. You're trying to save time by automating different tasks. And oftentimes you want to batch these things, or you want to do a bunch of stuff in parallel. So this means you're going to want to have some kind of concurrency. And having a language that treats concurrency as a first-class citizen is a huge unlock. So if you want to do the same thing in Python, you're going to have to deal with something like async IO, maybe thread pools. In Node, you're going to have to do something like async await or promise.all. Then you have to debug the event loop if something goes wrong. In Go, you can just create a simple for loop, take your function that you're going to do the work in, and just slap the word Go in front of it. It's that simple. Go routines themselves are very lightweight. You can even have these different Go routines talk to each other with built-in channels. So you can have parallel work going on and say these parallel jobs need to coordinate somehow or coordinate with the parent process. You just throw some data into a channel, which is another built-in for the Go language. So you can easily scale workloads without all of the cognitive overhead. Now, reason number 4 to build agentic applications with Go is that it is a compiled language. So whenever you build something new, create a new feature, you're going to have to run everything through a compiler, and the compiler is going to catch any errors before you actually run the program. So when you're dealing with AI automations, the bugs that bite you in the ass are never the clever ones. They're always the dumb ones, missing semicolons, indentation, that kind of thing. You're going to run into those kinds of errors using Python or TypeScript. But with compiled languages like Go, you're going to catch them before you even run the program. In Python or JavaScript, it's sometimes possible for things like typos to slip through, wrong file names, the wrong order in arguments in your functions. In Go, everything is statically typed, so you can't actually run something that is broken. And another plus for Go is that compilation is very fast compared to something like Rust, which is another statically typed language, and it's also a very good language in its own right, but it is notoriously slow during the compilation phase. If you've ever tried to compile a Rust program from scratch, you'll know what I mean. But if you've tried compiling a Go program from scratch, even big ones, it's very, very speedy. So you can get into a very quick feedback loop, just coding by hand or even with your agent. Your agent can build something, a new feature, compile it and run it with minimal compilation time. And the final reason, deployment with Go is dead simple. And like I mentioned before, with single file executables, you can minimize deployment to something as simple as copy and paste, or SCP, which is just copying a file over a secure shell to another server. So if you don't want it, you don't need something like Dockerfile, Kubernetes, Terraform, some crazy Vercel workflow. You don't need to install a bunch of dependencies once you've copied it over to the server. You just copy it and run it. And because of that, you can cut out the majority of the infrastructure theater and just get to what you want, which is a working AI automation or workflow in production. So to sum up, with Go, you get to write reliable code. You get one file to ship at the end of everything. You've got concurrency that just works. You've got bugs that are caught before they hit production. And you've got super simple deployment. And that's why I myself am building AI agents and workflows using Go. And that's why I built my AI boilerplate in Go. And I've recently made this boilerplate available, and I've called it Ship Agent. It's the opinionated Go foundation I wish existed when I started creating these types of things. And here's what's actually included. So right out of the box with Ship Agent, you've got multi-user authentication, 74 plus different tools. You've got scheduled jobs. You've got webhook triggered jobs. You've got event triggered jobs. You can hook it into Telegram if you want to. The default database is SQLite, and you probably don't need anything more than that because it is a powerhouse. And then once everything's compiled, like I said, it's a single file. You can copy it to a $5 VPS, and there you go. You've got a rock solid agentic application running in the cloud. And because it's opinionated and it's also well documented, you can just throw your agent at it and it already knows how to navigate. If you want to add a brand new tool, there's already several different examples for the agent to copy from. And so you've already got a very solid architecture to work from, and you can just focus on shipping the main value for yourself or your clients, or even the product that you're trying to build. All of the hard decisions of the architecture, the directory layout, the file names, all that stuff has already been done for you. And so you can focus all of your cognitive efforts on the task at hand. So if you want to skip all the foundational boilerplate stuff and ship a real agent this weekend, you can check it out at shipagent.dev. I've also deployed a live sandbox that you can play with so you can kind of see some of the features for yourself in a live environment. So you don't even need to sign up. There's a real chat, there's real tools involved. And as a promotion, the first 50 people to use the code SHIPIT will get 25% off the current price. So if you're looking to build and ship reliable agents in Go, now's the time. So in closing, the best language is not the language with the most tutorials. Though I'm trying to fix that in the case of Go. I'm probably one of the largest evangelists for the Go programming language in the agentic space, and I hope other people join me. But until then, I'm just going to keep trying to push the language in this space and get more people to adopt it, or at least talk about adopting it. And that's it. That's why I think Go is the best language for building agentic systems, agentic workflows, automations, etc. But what do you think? Do you disagree or agree with my reasoning? Do you think I'm crazy and it's better to stick with Python or TypeScript? Why or why not? Let me know in the comments below. If you have any other questions or comments, leave those down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash the like button. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.